All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You know, whatever you think about politics, let me tell you this, that when you hear a story like the one out of Orlando, the one thing you think about is, I don't know what we should do. I sure hope we have some leaders who know what to do. And that is really why our system of government and the way we vote for people is so important, because ultimately we're going to look at they're basically applying for a job. And we are the boss. And we're basically saying, all right, what are you going to bring to the table, Mr. Employee, who is now going to be a representative of mine? Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of what they all, whether it's city council or the president of the United States, they all have to pass that test of the general public. David G. is on the phone, and he is a candidate for Florida Senate District 12. He is a board member and leader in SCORE. He's a free medical clinic. The city of Richmond Port. What am I reading here, Robin? The Family Foundation of Virginia, a lay minister, a teacher. He's got a radio tower management firm. Oh, that's his radio connection. He said he's involved in radio. And he's got a book called Countdown 21. David G., good morning. Thank you for being on the air with us today.
Well, Larry, thank you so very much for that wonderful introduction. And you're exactly right. This is the longest job interview I think I've ever had in my life. I've been on this thing for about 2 months, and I don't think I've ever interviewed more than a few days for a job, and I really haven't worked for anybody. But having an opportunity to work for the citizens here in District 12, it would truly be an honor.
And I think in a world where our concerns are whatever they are at that time, that's who we vote. We vote for people we think can handle it. If it was during the recession, then it's about money. If it's about attacks by ISIS, it's about protection. You know, other times when there's nothing pressing, it's probably about infrastructure. But I mean, when you're in office, you're going to have to face questions about all those things.
Larry, that's exactly right. In my perspective from the top down, I am a student of Bible prophecy, and I contend very often that we could not really make sense of this upside-down chaotic world unless we had the end of the story. And the end of the story about life as we know it really is found in the book of Revelation in the Bible. And we are told that in end times, like we're in right now, in my humble opinion, that there will be chaotic, perilous times. We're also told that there will be battles for the soul of humanity and battles for our sovereignty. And what I really see in connecting the dots, Larry, is that America is going to have to make a decision that we will engage a war that has been declared upon us, or we will be passive. And that war is going to be really for the very soul of our nation, for nationality. I think Senator Sessions said it so very well. This next election will be about either we'll be a globalist or we will be a nationalist country.
What is interesting is that ISIS actually agrees with you. There was a story this morning that they issued a statement, and of course congratulating the guy who did the shooting, but they referred to those who died as crusaders, and that's a reference to the Christian Crusades. That's a reference to that.
Well, you know, the Bible again says that we are to celebrate life. In fact, we're all made in God's image, and my heart really goes out, and as it should for all of us, to the victims, their families, their friends. And it's not about where they were, what they were doing. It's really about celebrating life, and that's what they were doing in their own way. And I think what we have to take very serious, to be honest with you, and I don't think a lot of our politicians are, and especially, Larry, there's politicians that have served us for a long time, and they're career politicians, and they just will not engage the battle. And I'll give you an example. Wally Chabet, whom I follow on the internet, predicted 3 days before the massacre in Orlando that Florida would be under attack. And he had inside intelligence information that he passed on to the FBI. They refused to look at it. And he even had a list of 600 citizens in Florida that will be targeted. So a lot of things are going on. We're being targeted as Christians, as part of different communities, whatever it might be. And I think we have to wake up and realize we're in a real battle, a terrorist battle right now.
You're running for District 12. Tell me what District 12 covers.
Well, thank you very much. District 12 does include the majority of Marion County. We do have an office in Summerfield for Marion County. It does include Sumter County and includes Lake County, all the way south down to almost Claremont.
I know that I didn't want the Orlando story to completely monopolize your time. So tell me some of the things that you might have talked about had we been on Friday with you. What kind of things do you want to bring to Tallahassee that will make this area better?
Well, again, Larry, I think it's most important that I reinforce the fact to your listeners that I am not a career politician. I've never served in office. I'm one of them. I would be a citizen senator. And the things that are important to me, of course, is the celebration of life and the protection of life from womb to the grave. The big thing that I have made a centerpiece of my platform is stopping illegal immigrations. We can do a lot about our Second Amendment rights and even open up the opportunity to carry in different places where we go, but we must stop the illegals, and especially those that are here by design to behead us or to change our way of life. So stopping illegal immigration is very important. The third thing that I'm really strongly against is this thing called Common Core. I have two opponents. One of my opponents has been a champion for Common Core and is no more than, in my opinion, Common Core is no more than a world type of a program that will dumb down our kids and make our kids part of the global community. So I'm very much against Common Core. And of course, I'm a businessman. I've found my way on many boards as chairman and on many committees and this type thing. And I think that we can build a much stronger, more stable economy here in Florida.
Yeah, the Common Core is an interesting thing. I mean, I was a supporter of Jeb Bush, but he supported Common Core, and I was like, what are you thinking? I mean, and again, I'm just a radio guy, so I probably don't have information regarding the entire Common Core program. But what they have shown, what I've looked at, people have brought into me, it's like, why are they making the kids go through all these roundabout ways of figuring out a simple math equation?
Larry, you just have to really look about who's for Common Core and who's against it. And when it was birthed in the United Nations, and it was funded primarily by the Gates Foundation with almost $12 billion. And then it was passed right from the private people like Gates and Bush and some of these other folks right into our Department of Education that then did not even take it through Congress, but they used it as a piece that they would send down to the states without even getting congressional approval, and tell the states that if you don't take that, you're not going to get funding for education. So if you look at it globally, it's just not a good thing.
Give me your thoughts on the health situation. Florida has kind of half and half gone along with Obamacare. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, I think the centerpiece of the mission of needing some kind of health care changes is right. I don't think Obamacare is the right way. I think it needs to be revisited and looked at and studied. And certainly the big thing here in Florida, as you know, Larry, is what we do for our seniors. And seniors need to be protected. Those that have worked and paid into the system just needs to make sure that going forward that we do have adequate protection for them first and foremost. So I think the thought of it is okay, but I think it does need to be revisited.
David Gee is our guest. If you're just tuning in, he's a Republican candidate for Florida Senate District 12. You're calling from the Villages, right?
I am, yes, sir.
You're calling from the Villages. And as you take your thoughts to Tallahassee, give me, if you could, was there one point that, or maybe a news story, something that made you say to the people close to you, your wife, your family, oh my gosh, I got to run for office. This is getting to be too much. What was the turning point for you?
Well, thank you very much. And I did not seek this office. In fact, I was recruited, and I told people no several different times. And the centerpiece for why I was recruited is that the folks around District 12 really thinks that somebody that has the business background and acumen that I have can make a difference, and that I can go up there and not be beholden to special interest groups, and especially the crony PAC people that has funded a lot of our politicians and gets them into being career politicians, that we can make a difference. So I really do think that with my business background, my understanding, that I can be a true citizen senator and be beholding and accountable to the people.
I'm so sorry. I saw in your bio just now that your wife died in 2008. I apologize for that. Okay, so you know what I think people are looking for right now? They're looking for somebody who can be a leader. And I think they're looking for somebody who's also got business savvy. Looks like you've got a lot of credentials when it comes to business.
Larry, I've worked in the transportation industry for a long time. I turned my business that I started in 1977 over to my son. He's doing extremely well. I stay extremely business. I'm a true, pure capitalist. I believe investing in people and in ideas and in companies. And I'm a risk taker. And but being a risk taker means also I create jobs. So I have done that my entire life. I enjoy business. The business people, unfortunately, have got so many things against them right now from our government. There's just especially federal overreach. And I think we at the state level can do a lot to stop that. And so if I go to Tallahassee, you will probably not find anybody that's more business friendly than David G.
Let's see. The website for you is it Dave G or David G?
It is Vote David G, and that's GEE.com. And I'll tell your listeners again, if there ever was a grassroots candidate, it is David G. And I do not have the money from the PAC people. Both of my opponents that's running in this race have gotten a lot of money, so we're up against some well-heeled people. But if they want to support me, they can come to VoteDavidG.com. Work on our campaign. We got 2 offices, one down in Lake County, one up in Summerfield and Marion County. And they can do a lot to really put one of us back in office.
Well, nice getting to know you. I just went to your website. The book that the little boy is reading, on the first picture that shows up, we had the author of that book on talking about that. I can't remember how long ago it was, but well, that says a lot. I mean, that little one picture right there just kind of said a lot to me.
It really does.
David, thank you for being on the air with us today. Good luck with your campaign, and don't be a stranger. You know the power of radio, so use it, okay?
Larry, thank you and Robin so very much for having me on, and God bless.
Thank you. We'll be right back.